Hi, folks. I did it. I think I screwed up again, but I did it. I'm going to bring my two friends right back on. My friend Eddie, and there's Big Joe. All right, Eddie, as usual, is doing something else. I'd say just put the light on. Always
Hello,
late.
everybody.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah. You need some brill cream in that beard, man.
What? I was relaxing. What? I didn't know you were going to go on because I didn't hear from you.
I called you yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I called you yesterday or the day before. And I says, you want to come on?
All right, I'm on. Here we are.
All right, you must be feeling better.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
All right,
You race this week?
here's what we're gonna do. I got a bunch of news for everybody. Here's what we're gonna do, because everybody's calling up and saying it's the same old thing, the same guys, the same this, the same that, the same. You talk about the same thing and everything. Here's what we're gonna do. First of all, starting tomorrow, I'm gonna get my friend to go on. So this show will also be on Instagram. And I don't know how to do it. She's going to do it for me. And we're going to advertise on Instagram, so we'll get more and more people on. Then we're going to start talking about a lot of different stuff. And what I'm going to do is we're going to have certain topics that we're going to talk about pertaining to the horses and anything else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to put pictures up like this. I'll go like this, like this, like this, like this, and I'll go down and I'll say, if anybody that's watching wants to hear, because let's just take this picture here. There's a million stories about this picture and how I was involved in that picture with Paul Savino and Rappaport and Chaz. Okay, you take this picture here. There's the whole story how Yukaza broke his knees and he wound up living with me, and I got him in a race and I got him his license back. There's a big story here.
Eddie Heisel?
That's Eddie Heisel, and that's Danny Manrique. That part of that, a little bit of that story is in the book. But each one of these pictures, like there's Juicy. That's another story I can get into. There's James Gandolfini. That story. I got. There's a picture of me, Carla Claus, and Gagliotti. I go into that story. Here's a picture of Milton Berle, Johnny Carson, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, and Steve Lawrence. That's another story. Here's a story about Braun, how he won the Hamiltonian. George Brennan. George Brennan. Here's another story. Who are these guys here?
Joe, that's the Four Seasons.
No, that's Tommy DeVito. That's Frankie, that's Joe Pesci, and that's Frankie Valli.
Right.
So anyway, and this is a newspaper clipping in Freehold in 1969. After these newspaper clippings, in fact, this fella here, Joe Rizzo, he was a driver trainer. You all know him.
I remember Joe.
He was the one that sent me these pictures because they wanted me to be the Marlboro man. They contacted McClune, who was the general manager. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I'll just keep posting pictures up like this picture here. This is a picture of the jockey. This is a picture. This is the pastor. This is a picture of the jockey that Tony beat the shit out of because he run over the money. And after that, he had to pay him the money back. He almost killed him, and he became a preacher. This is a great story. I'm gonna tell. In fact, I'm gonna tell this story because I called up the trainer of the other horse, and I told him I was going to show him this picture and the story that goes with that picture. So that's what we're going to do. This way, instead of talking about the same stuff over and over and over again, here's a picture of Tough Tony from Corona to Parkside. Here's a picture of what we used to go through in December, January, February. Here's a picture of
Me.
called Joe Guarino with his beautiful little baby there holding a horse when he was young. Did you know that was Joe, Eddie?
Yep.
Yeah, Eddie knew me then.
Okay, and here's a picture of the mobster.
Tommy
Tommy
Lucchese.
Lucchese, okay? My mother's boss, the guy that got me out of a million. I would have been dead if it wasn't for him. And he put me on the right track. Here's the only advertisement of Lincoln Downs. The only racetrack that opened was a thoroughbred track. The only racetrack it was open. They only had thoroughbred racing. It was the only time they opened one meet for standardbreds. And me, Michael LaChance, and Henry Fillion, Bucky Day, we all went down there, and that's when I win that race and broke Adios Butler's world record, the horse I nerved high. And here's little Sammy. Here's Gabert, the guy that the whole story is about. And this is the race that introduced me and him. So all of these stories, there's Stewie Younger when he come up, and I set him up with all the games at the Concord all summer. Okay, so anyway, that's what we're going to do. As soon as things start getting a little dull, we're going to pop a picture up. And here's a picture somebody sent me a long time ago. Now it's popular, but that's a good picture. Never give up. Okay, so the first thing I want to start now, before we get into this thing, is my friend Alfred Natoli and Charmin, the one that wrote that song for Sinatra, the one that wrote the song "It's Getting Late."
It's getting late.
It's getting late. Well, he come up with a CD, and on this CD, he did something very, very sharp. He did something very smart. He took all the old standards. Now, you young kids won't know, but the older guys, our age, you'll know all these songs. These are all the popular songs in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, from Sinatra and all the popular songs. And what they did was they mashed them up. They put like two songs together. They started off with one, and then they mixed the other one right into it.
Yeah.
And it's really a good. It's a great album. And they just they're putting this out. They put it out about 2 years ago, and it sold out real quick. And now they're putting it back out again. So if you want it, I'm going to leave this up for a minute or two so you can get the address, and also Alfred's phone number for those of you who want to call him and order it. It's 973-953-1247. So call Alfred, say, Alfred, I'm sending you a check at that address for $20, or call him and he'll tell you where to send the check, and he'll send you out this CD. It's a real good CD, and they got some top musicians playing in the band behind them. It's a real good CD. So I just wanted you to know that, because I know a lot of you love the music that I play. And he's the one that wrote that song, Here's to the Band for Sinatra, and he wrote that song, It's Getting Late.
The Wrecking Crew is on there?
Is the what?
The Wrecking Crew. The backup band, the Wrecking Crew?
No.
No.
All right, so that's Alfred. So his number again is 973-953-1247. And his name and the address is right there, 520 McDonald Street. He's in Garfield, New Jersey, right around the corner from Goodfellas. And so get it. You'll enjoy it. Okay, now we'll take this off. And now
make the pictures big, Larry.
Make the pictures big. How's that?
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
Good.
Not on, dummy.
Wow. You better make them small again. We're getting old.
Yeah.
You look good like that with that beard, just like that, Eddie. Don't let it grow too much. You race any since we saw you last?
Why? No. They had no racing. I was in to go Monday, but they canceled because of the wind. And they ain't raced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm racing Saturday.
You look like you just woke up, Eddie.
No, I'm tired. I'm just tired. It's been out. I've been going to track every day, and it's damn cold, and it's miserable out there.
I heard.
It was 16 degrees. Oh, that's nice.
How about these days, Ed?
Yeah, that's beautiful. But that's Monticello, right?
Yeah, that's Monticello.
Yeah. Madon.
And the guys the guys that were making all the big money were in the offices making the bullshit rules.
Yeah.
Right. All of the suit and tie people.
Yeah. And just so the people know that are not in racing, right after you come off the track with this horse, now after you come off the track, you got to unhook them, take everything off them, give them a nice warm bath, and then cover them back up, put all your clothes back on, and go right back out there again for probably 4 or 5 miles, which is probably a half hour. And you do that until so
you get frostbitten.
And I used to do it all day because I give the grooms a break, because normally a groom takes care of 3 horses and it's his job to go out. But on bad days, I would just put my suit on and just
one after another,
get them ready, one right after another, and I would go out there. After the first half hour, you come in, your hands are really cold and everything. But once they thaw out the first time, it's not that bad. And I was able to go the whole morning, just one right after another, give the grooms a break. They stay there and they have to get the horses done right away. So
we like Yonkers, right, Joe, with the concrete. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful ice.
You can hang meat in those bonds.
Forget about it. Oh my God.
Now, here's what I'm going to do. The other day, well, it wasn't the other day, it was a while back, I called up Joe and I said, Joe, what we're doing, and we're going to try to do this, and that's what's holding up a little bit, the movie and the TV series, because when you do a movie and TV series with have anything to do with horse racing or even horses, they come right down on you. PETA comes down on you. You got to have 3 veterinarians for every horse. You have to have. It becomes a horror, insurance wise and personnel wise, and it's just a horror. And that's why every movie, even Seabiscuit, all the films, all the races that were done live were bullshit. They look phony. They look fake. And few people know this, but they killed a lot of horses broke down during. They started out. I believe they started out, and the reason I know a little bit about this is because they needed jockeys, and they took 4 or 5 jockeys from Delaware Park, and I happened to be racing there at that meet. And the one kid that told me about it was Joe Rocco Jr., the jockey, and they used him for one of the things. And what they would do is they would have cameras on the inside of the hub rail. They would have cameras on the outside on a car. And thoroughbreds, like standardbreds, when you jog them, they go out with tractors and cars and water trucks on the track. But you can't do that on the thoroughbred. When the thoroughbred's on the racetrack, there is no moving vehicles at all. So now they take these horses and they first of all they're not going to get no sound thoroughbred horse. So they have either trainers that would they might give you $5,000 for the horse to use them, but they usually have trainers that train horses and dogs just for specific pictures. And but these horses are old, retired, broken down horses that he gets as sound as he could. But when you go, okay, we're going to do it again. Next take, let's do it again. Let's from the top of the stretch to the finish line, take after take after take, and you're doing it because you got cameras all over, and the horses are running sideways and everything else. That takes no good. It looks fake. We got to do it again. These horses are breaking down. They used over 101 horses just to make that picture.
Wow.
So what we're doing. All right. What happened, Eddie?
I don't know. It just went off.
All I saw was the thumb like this, and then you would
I
disappear.
was hitchhiking.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
you're hitchhiking.
I don't know how much of the story you missed, but I'm not going to go back.
No, I got it all. I heard you while I was off. Go ahead.
I told you. I really mean this. I will not only will I send you the money, I will drive to Belmont Park. They have a thing like this. You see this? I don't know if you can see this. You see this? This thing? It holds
Yeah.
it holds your phone. It costs $10. Your phone on here, and that's it. You can adjust it any way you want, high, low. Instead of holding it in your hand.
Hey, fun for once a week, I could hold it in my hand. You have one, Joe, or you're on a computer?
I'm on a roll of tape.
Yeah.
You're on a roll of tape? All right.
A roll of
Let me continue.
shipping tape.
Yeah, comb your hair, Larry.
Yeah, I got none left. I just combed it. I got the clippers. I clip it. I do it myself. I clip it myself with a number 6 or 7, whatever it is. I go zoom, zoom, zoom.
You use the same one for the dog.
Yeah, no, the one I did for the dog, that was when my hair was really short. Forgot to change the blade. Anyway, so now, so I call up. So every horse movie that try to do live racing is a disaster, and it's in fact that really good TV series Luck, that was with I think it was Dustin Hoffman. Hoffman with Luck.
Yeah,
and
Dustin Hoffman.
it was really good. They killed 7 horses, and they killed 4 horses in the first 7 series because of that. Take after take after take. So now, whenever a studio hears a movie about horses, they don't want to be bothered because of the insurance, because of the bullshit that goes on. So they don't want. But now that AI is out there, you could feed horse racing into AI, from what I understand, and teach AI all about horse racing, and then through AI you can create a regular horse race, however you want it to finish. So I called up Joe and I says, Joe, you have any? I have plenty of thoroughbred races, but I don't have any harness races. So I says, you have any harness races? And he says, yes. So he sent me a bunch of them. I'm only going to play 3 of them. Because they're a couple of minutes long, and I don't want to do the whole show just showing Joe's races. But I'm gonna play 3 of the races that he sent me that he was in. Joe was he was a driver and trainer, and he was in. And the only problem I might have is I'm gonna try to see when I hit the film, the microphones go off. And me and Joe figured out how to fix that. But now we have you in the picture, so I may have to get you out there. But anyway, here's the first race, and I'm going to start it now. I'm going to try to get the microphones on so Joe could tell where he's at. And if he screws up, we're going to start it all over again till we get it.
It's the first one?
First one, Joe.
Yeah, this race, Joey Rico came to me before the race, and he said, Joe, he says, I want to leave in here. I said, Joe, I bet my horse, and he's best on the front end. He says, just come right back. I said, okay, no problem. I took him at his word. Well, he didn't keep his word, but it worked out.
Now, I want to say this. Joe's a good guy.
I know.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at that, because he's
usually,
but anyway, here's the result of that. And if I screw up, because just so you know, I got to put the film on. As soon as you put the film on, the computer automatically shuts all our mics off. But I want Joe to talk during the race. So I think I can touch everybody's mic and set it up. So we're going to try it. So here goes.
I got the rail in here. I think Joey got the 4 or the 5 hole. And he told me before the race, just come right back, So I said, okay. Yeah, he got
They're
the
all
4.
fan pacing trio out quickly for the lead. Oval Master at the rail. Hal's best in the outside.
I let
In the
him go
first
right
turn,
away.
Trio has the early lead. Oval Master second. Hal's Best dropping in third. A gap of 3.5. Tacoma
Now
Messina
when I go
fourth.
to
Rock
retake,
Island Line
he puts
fifth.
the whip over the horse.
Then comes Joker sixth. Bronze Rover
And
seventh.
I'm pissed.
And the trailer is Tiger's Call. They go to the quarter pole. Trio by a length over Oval Master. A gap of 5 to Hal's Best. They're at the quarter in 28-3. And in the paddock turn the
That's
first
you in the
time.
two-hole,
Trio
right,
is
Joe?
on
Yeah,
top
I'm in
of
a
lane.
two-hole.
Oval Master races second. 2 back to Hal's Best third. A gap
It
of
all
3
worked
lengths.
out,
Coma
but-
Messina fourth. The Rock Island Line. Then the outside fifth. Joker sixth. Gap of 3 to Bronze Rover. And Tiger's Call can see them all.
This is
They
in
come out of the stands the first
1986.
time. Trio on top of lane.
It rolls
Oval
over.
Master is second.
Great
Coma
track.
Messina to the outside third. Hal's Best fourth. Rock Island Line moves up fifth, a half in a minute and 1/5. Clubhouse turned the second time. Trio maintaining a length advantage over Oval Master. On the outside, Coma Messina third. Rock Island Line with a cover fourth. Hal's Best the rail fifth. Joker sixth. Bronze Rover seventh. Tiger's Call eighth. They straighten out down the backstretch. It's still Trio with the lead. Coma Messina the outside second. Oval Master a closer third. Rock Island Line fourth. Hal's Best the rail fifth. Joker sixth. 3/4. 1:30-2. Paddock turned the final time. Trio with the lead.
You
Oval
must
Master
be
a
happy
tight
now,
second.
Joe.
Coma
Yeah,
Messina
now I'm
fading
okay.
third. Hal's Best fourth. They've got an eighth of a mile to pace now. They turn
Now I'm
for home.
counting the money.
Trio with the lead. Oval Master goes to the outside. With the lane, it's Trio with the lead. Oval Master moving to him in the outside. Trio and Oval Master coming on.
Did you say
Anyway.
anything to Joe after the race, or you just let it go?
Yeah, I told him you're lucky I won the race because you would have to run out of the paddock with your colors on.
Now, Joe, we lost you. The picture. How come we lost your face?
I don't know.
All right, you're back on now.
Back on.
Anyway,
Yeah, I was pissed off at him because I trusted him. Now the next race you're showing, Regine Daniel, I want to cut the mile, and Regine got the rail with a free-legged pacer, and he's not great in the turns. And I stay away from Regine in the post parade because I know he's going to want to cut the mile, and I want to cut the mile. So my horse could leave real good, so I left out of there, and he says, "Go ahead," and I'm coming right back, and I didn't say nothing.
what's the name of your
And
horse?
he yelled at me, and I'll never forget it. He says, "Do you hear me?" And I said, yeah, okay.
Did you let it go?
He let me go, but he wasn't a good horse, and he was bad in the turns. And
But did you let him go?
of course, I gave him my word. Of course,
Okay. All right. What was the name of your horse in here? You remember?
the same horse, Oval Master. He had a horse named the Milkman. It was a
All
free
right.
leg.
This field is in motion.
I think I got the 5-hole. He got the.
The only mic I can't get off is Eddie's. All right, you got the 5-hole?
Yeah, he got the rail.
There you go.
They're off and pacing. Milkman goes for the lead. Mishmash between horses, Rough Gated and the outside Oval Master. Into the first turn, Oval Master
Right here.
to battle Milkman
He says,
for
"Do
the
you hear
lead.
me?"
Mishmash is third. 3-back Herbar's back is fourth. Treacherous Bread fifth. A gap afforded Damocles Lobel, Ships Falcon, and Double Stakes. They go to the quarter pole. Oval Master has the lead. Milkman right back up on the outside second. Mishmash third. They're by the quarter in 29 4/5. They race into the paddock turn the first time. The Milkman has taken over the lead. Oval Master is second. Mishmash races third. A length back, Herbar's back is fourth. Treacherous Brett fifth. A gap of 3.5. Damocles Lobel. Ships Falcon seventh. Double Stakes is eighth. They
Here
come by
comes
the
Joey
stands the first
Rico
time.
again.
Milkman with the lead. Mishmash
He
now moving up
knows
quickly
he's
to
not getting
challenge.
the turns.
Oval Master is third. Herbar's back is fourth. They're by the half mile in a minute and 3/5. Clubhouse turned the second time. Mishmash and Milkman battle for the lead. Oval Master third. Herbar's back is on the rim fourth. It's a length back to Treacherous Brett fifth. Ships Falcon goes up sixth. They leave the 5-8, setting to the 3/4 pole. It's still Milkman and Mishmash.
Regine is
Overmaster
empty
third,
here,
her
so
bars back is fourth, Treacherous
I'm
Brett
starting to
fifth.
back off. Look what I'm
Damocles
going
Low
to
Bell
do.
at the rail
I'm waiting
sixth.
for
Ships
Hervé to go
Falcon
3
is
wide
seventh.
so I can sneak
Double
out and
stakes eighth,
hope I get
3/4,
loose.
130 and 2. Paddock turn the final time.
As soon as
Mishmash
Hervé
3
goes 3
parts
wide,
of
I
lane.
stick my head out.
Milkman at the rail second. Her bars back is 3 wide third. Oval Master in between horses fourth. They've got an eighth of a mile to pace. Now they turn for home. Mishmash, Milkman, and Herbar's Bacchus, 3 across the track, split by Oval Master. Through the lane, Herbar's Bacchus, Oval Master closing the rail. Herbar's Bacchus and Oval Master, their heads apart.
Wow. That was a goodie.
Yeah.
Eddie, the only mic I can't get off is yours. I can't get your mic on, so
Don't worry about it.
I ain't worried about it. All right, one more race with Joe.
The next race is a horse that's allergic to hay. He can't eat hay. He's very allergic. And what happened was the girl I fed on a Sunday, she fed for somebody and she threw the horse hay. He was eating these pellet, these hypoallergenic pellets, alfalfa pellets. And the girl gave this horse hay and he got all, forget about it. He was a mess the next day. So I had to keep him out 29 days, because I put him on clenbuterol. And I think you had to keep him out like 3 weeks. But I cleared him up and I put him in not to qualify him in 29 days. So my game plan is just to sit on the wood. And if I get a check at the end, I get a check.
What was his name?
His name was Strike LaRue. He was a class.
This field is in motion.
Strike LaRue was his name. He was like 10 or 11. I think he got the 3 hole.
They're off and pacing. Super Scat goes for the lead along the rail. Stuart Hanover on the outside. Royal Play. Into the first turn, Super Scat getting the early lead. Stuart Hanover's second. Royal Play gets away third. 3 back. Strike LaRue fourth. Parked on the outside. Jeff Strength fifth. At the rail, Treacherous Brett, followed by Broly and Dr. Ray-Ban. They go to the quarter pole. Super Scat with the lead. Stuart Hanover second. Jeff's Strength moves up on the outside third. Royal Play fourth, the quarter, 29 and 3. They race into the paddock turn the first time. Super Scat with the lead. Jeff Strength on the outside. Stuart Hanover at the rail. It's a length back to Royal Play, racing fourth. Strike LaRue fifth. Then comes Treacherous Brett, Broly, and Dr. Ray-Ban. Coming by the stands the first time, Super Scat at the rail. Jeff Strength parked on the outside. Stuart Hanover third, a length and a half to Royal Play fourth. Strike LaRue fifth, they're by the half in 59 and 1. Clubhouse turn the second time. Super Scat holds on to the lead. Jeff Strength on the outside second. Stuart Hanover third. Royal Play moves to the outside fourth. Strike LaRue fifth. Treacherous Brett 3 wide sixth and going up. A gap of 3.5 to Broly and the trailer Dr. Ray-Ban. They go to the 3/4 pole. Super Scat with the lead. Royal Play 3 wide second. Stuart Hanover third. Jeff Strength between horses is fourth. They go 3/4 in 129 and 4. Paddock turn the final time. Super Scat holds on to the lead. Royal Play on the outside. Treacherous Brett moving 3 wide
You're
third.
third on the rail
Stuart
here,
Hanover
right?
fourth.
I'm
Strike
sixth,
LaRue
yeah.
at the rail fifth. They've got an eighth of a mile to pace now. They turn for home. Super Scat with the lead. Royal Play down the middle of the track. Treacherous Brett on the outside. Through the lane, Royal Play gets the lead. Treacherous Brett on the outside. Strike LaRue. Royal Play, Stuart Hanover, and Strike LaRue to win it all.
Wow.
That was an unexpected win.
Oh, perfect drive.
Joe.
Days, 40 years ago.
Joe, who the hell was announcing?
I don't know. That's after Jack Lee got thrown out of Roosevelt for talking.
This field is in motion.
Jack Lee got thrown out.
Yeah, he got thrown out.
Now? Jack Lee got thrown out of Roosevelt for talking about Lou Williams. He thought he was off the air. He thought he was off the air. And he did the TV, on CBS every 20 minutes they gave the races.
Right.
And he was on air, and he said something about Lou Williams that he shouldn't have said, and he
Yeah.
lost his job.
That was Jerry Glantz announcing all three of them races.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
that's
really
who it was.
good.
Yeah.
That was Jerry Glantz. Oh, wow. Yeah.
He was really good. He was a really good announcer. Jerry's a very, very smart guy. I think he come from a very wealthy family. They own car dealerships, I think. And because I always wondered, why the hell don't this guy ever work? He's never working. He buys horses, but he's a really, really sharp guy, really nice guy, sharp guy, knows the game, knows every facet of the game, the breeding end of it. And he's very, very sharp guy, keeps to himself, and very, very smart and good announcer, great announcer. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so
nobody was like Jack Leto to me. I mean,
he had a nickname for everybody. I won a race in Freehold. Oh, I think I won the Daily Double at Freehold, and he had some kind of name for me. I don't know, but I don't remember it. But I'm going to
Smart money.
a lot of people had names for you, Larry.
Yeah, I know. So and you know what? Yeah, I got some pictures of the guys. That guy had some names for me. That guy, had some names.
He had some names. Yeah.
He had some names for me. He had some names for me. He had some names for me.
Oh man, I sat next to him at a concert. Yeah.
You should have saw the guy. This poor guy, Leon Scraps. Leon Scraps was the youngest guy in the Nicky Barnes crew, and he was the only one that was out of jail, and one of the only ones at the time that were alive when he got out of jail. They all got life. He got life in 30 years to life or something like that. Anyway, when he got out, because my dealings with them were in the 1970s, 74. And just before they all got pinched. And he was 20 years old, 20 years old. And he was, I go to the garage every Tuesday or Wednesday to pick up the money because we were betting together. And someday if somebody asks, I'll go through that whole story. I don't want to go through stories I repeated already, but I did a whole podcast on that. And the podcast I did on that, he agreed to come on. So he came on. He came on to the podcast, and I was doing the podcast at my house. So he says, "You know what? I'll drive in from Harlem, and I'll stay right around by the Meadowlands or something." And he winds up going into Newark, and he got mugged. So he's in the hospital. He got a big bump on his head, this big slash. Anyway, they stitched him up. They stitched his head up. So he comes on the show on my podcast. With he came on that night, and
I remember.
he told all about the night when we had for the week's money. I think I had like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000 coming, and I used to have to pick it up from him because he would stay at the garage because Nicky Barnes' garage was oh God, I forgot the street. 100
Jerome Avenue.
No. It was in Harlem. It was right down the street. You know where it is now? You know what's there now? Who's that? Oh God, his building is there now. Al Sharpton's building.
Yeah. Al
Sharpton's garage was, and this is the part of the council that they called it. He just died. Jazz, and he had some terrible things to say about Nicky, but he's the only living member now, and they were gonna do they had it all written out and everything, and this guy Leon. That's him. This is me when he got out of jail. I went to meet him at Sylvia's in Harlem. I asked him if he would come on the show, and he said he would.
Yeah.
And can you talk about whatever? He says, yeah, I did my time. He did his 30 years, whatever it was. And he says, yeah, I'll come on. And
that was a good show.
I'll tell it the way it is. And he did. He came on. He was hurting pretty good, but he came on, and he told what happened, that he had my money in a bag and had other money he had to bring someplace, and that's when they nailed him. They nailed him with all the money, and so I never got my end that week. But we went on for about a month or two, every single night. That's when I was switching horses. That's a whole. Like I said, each one of these pictures is a story in itself. This is Corky. I don't know did you know Corky, Joe?
Yeah.
All right, Corky. What happened with Corky? Corky was with the Jersey crew over here, but he knew everybody, and he was a big earner. In fact, I think he's still alive, and in fact, I asked Anthony when he got pinched, he was going to go to jail for a long time, and he was in a lot of trouble because Gotti thought he was going to rat on everything, but he wasn't. But anyway, they thought he was, so that means he had a death sentence on him. So he hired his daughter, just got out of law school, and he hired his daughter to be his attorney, and he won.
Yeah.
And he's out, and he's still alive today. He's in his 90s. But Corky, this guy here, when I had that party, it cost me almost $1 million when I had it at the Concord, when they took over the whole Concord Hotel in 1981. I had entertainment. I had my own band at the time, 18-piece band called the Kenny Martell Concept. I had Andre and Sorrell open for me, and I had Mousy Lawrence from the Concord as the comedian. And it was a 3-day extravaganza. And his company, his filming company, filmed the whole party. And and then right after that, I got in all the trouble and everything else, and I never. But I asked.
When the party was over.
I asked. I think it was Anthony, to try to get in touch with his daughter because she's an attorney, and ask her father, Corky, if he still had them films of that party. That was like a Sinatra job. That was like Sinatra, the main event at Madison Square Garden. That's how great this party was. It was unbelievable, and he did the film. But he was something. As a big earner, and I believe he was responsible for Mike Agliotti buying the farm from Sammy Davis Jr. That farm he had in Colts where the hell was it? It was in down South Jersey.
Colts Neck?
Not Colts Neck. I forgot. Anyway, Sammy Davis Jr. If you see when Mike first got the farm, he had trunks with Sammy Davis's name on it. I think Corky sponsored that deal with Mike. Corky was responsible for Mike having. I'm looking for another picture. As we're talking, because I should have these pictures together, because some of them mesh into one another. And yeah. Now, Mike Agliotti had a sister named Barbara. She was gorgeous. She was beautiful. And a kid that used to work for me, Carl D'Angelillo. You all know Carl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Carl was going out with her. And Carl's a good-looking guy. And he was good friends with Mike. And all of a sudden, they broke up, and Barbara comes back with this guy. Now, this guy's name is Tommy Riccardi, if you remember, and it's in all the newspapers, so I'm not saying anything out of whack. He's the guy that he was part of, I think, the Colombo crew.
He dug the swimming pool for Mike.
Yeah. Well, I got to make sure. I think he's part of the Columbos, I think. I forgot. Anyway, I can't remember. I know, but I just can't remember. I get the Colombo and Lucchese crew, but I think it's the Columbos. And he was the one that killed that guy with the golf club. And it was all in all the newspapers and everything. And anyway, they were marked for death and everything. And he became a government informant. And that was the time when, and I'm sure you've all heard about it, because when he married Mike's sister, he was building a big mansion right next door to Mike's house in Lakewood. That's where the farm was, Lakewood. And so Mike had the big farm in Lakewood that he bought from Sammy Davis house. And he had and so Tommy built the house next, but in the meantime, he was living with Mike's mother and sister in their house. And Mike was living in one of the tack rooms with Simone, who he married. And one day, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the house was surrounded by probably 20, 30 FBI guys. And they got them all out of the house. They put them all in the witness protection program. And that's what, and they showed, they made Tommy, this guy, Tommy Riccardi, listen to the tapes, and that they were going to kill him. And he become, so he's to save his life, because he was married then. And he just become a government informant. He's out and he's free today. And I don't know if they're still married or not, but like I said, each one of these stories has I got a great story about this guy. This is Ralph Giuliani's father. This is the fellow who, when Chin was in the club all the time, it was this brother who stayed by his side all the time. And it was Louis' father, Mario, here, who was a street guy. And this guy here saved my life once. It was the only time I ever asked for help because of trouble I got into. And I didn't know what to do. And it wasn't saving my life. It was saving my mother's life. The guy threatened my mother. Anyway, that's a story. And someday I'll get into the story if somebody asks. But like I said, there's each one of these pictures. But Mario, I considered my father, because my father had died. And he was, Mario's just a good guy, a really good guy. He lived to be, I think, 100 years old. He just died, I think, a year ago.
Yeah, I met him quite a few times.
A real good guy. And he saved me, he saved my mother's life. It's a good guy. In fact, back then, I was going out with a girl called Aura. And at that time, Mario was married to Louis' mother, his first wife. And she noticed Aura had big breasts, and she noticed a big purple thing on her chest. And it turned out that she made her go to the doctor. She took it to the doctor, and they saved her life because it was cancer. So, and then Mario, after that, Louis wound up going out with Aura's sister, Helen. And we were over the house one night. Mario's planning a wedding for Louis and Helen and me and Aura, two sisters and me and Louis. And I stopped that. Not me. And but anyway, like I said, got a bunch of stories about that guy. Now that guy, for you that don't know, if you saw the picture Casino, Joe Pesci played Tony Pesci, yeah. That was a part that Pesci played. So I had a lot of good stories about him. And when he did me the favor, this is the guy that he sent to do it, Herbie Blitzstein. He was about 7 feet tall and 350 pounds. And it was all, let's see if I can find the guy that made it all happen right there, Frank Collada. That's Frank Collada. And that's what you know who that is.
Another Frank.
Another Frank. Them eyes, them shark eyes.
Them piercing eyes.
And here's this fat jerk off who beat the shit out of that priest.
Yeah.
And this is Dr. Burton, the guy who found the cure for cancer, who I saved about 200 kids that I sent down there. God, and the reason I decided to do that, I got so many pictures.
Every picture tells a story.
Every picture tells a story. See now, if Anthony was here, this is Anthony's uncle. I never even knew it, and that's the story. This guy was the guy that made it all happen, and never opened his mouth. Spent 4 or 5 years in jail. Never opened his mouth. Come out, and good guy, solid guy. This guy here, oh boy, this guy here, talk about whack jobs, tough guys. Vinny, I got a couple of good stories about him. One story real quick. When
the Lufthansa heist.
Huh?
The Lufthansa heist.
Yeah, he in fact he went to trial for that and he beat it.
Yeah.
He beat it. But anyway, it was hard whenever things got tight and I couldn't get enough money or I couldn't get the runners or whatever, or I had to stay away from certain OTB places, I wind up sneaking to the track myself. But everybody knew me and everybody knew what I was doing, and I had to hide. But no matter what, a different crew hung out on every floor. There were 5, 6 floors. So go on the first floor, usually it was Tough Tony's crew that stayed down there. Then the next one, it was Gotti's crew. And then, so no matter what floor I went to, so I would just walk out. They would all get me, and I would have to wait till the last minute to tell them. In the meantime, I went with somebody, and I'd always send them in a different direction. And I would say, I would either see Tony or I would see Vinny or somebody and say, look, just save me a spot on the line. I'll know with about a minute to go. And, and that's what you could bet back then. You could bet whatever you want. And there were two funny stories about him. Well, not funny for one guy. We were third on line, and the guy sitting second on line is yelling at the guy in front of him because he's one of these guys that's saying, like he's thinking, oh, give me the 2 with the 5, and one of them guys.
He's handicapping online.
And the guy in the second spot right in front of Vinny, he died right there of a heart attack. And Vinny, when the guy left the window, Vinny stepped right on him. He was standing on his back betting at the window. Get him out of the way. And another time he come to the track, he had a big cast on his arm. I forget what arm it was. I think it was the right arm. He had a cast on his arm. And a guy tried to cut in front of him on the line or something, and he went right up to him with the cast. Wham! He was a crazy guy. One of the best stories is with this guy here. Unbelievable story. So these are all. This is a great story too, but a lot of people, when I went through, I started the podcast to promote the book, but then I didn't have to promote the book because of the Hollywood thing happened right away, and all of these guys. So I went through the podcast telling very short versions of every story, like even of this story that when Milton Berle had I think it was the 80th birthday for his wife. They had it at my club in Los Angeles Boulevard, and that night, I mean, you could just imagine every major star was there, and that's, like I said, that's Milton Berle, and that's Sinatra, that's Johnny Carson, Sammy Davis, Steve Lawrence, and the whole room was packed, and we went till the next morning, and it was just a lot of good times. I could write a book just about that night, what went on. Man.
You had a lot of good memories, Larry.
Yeah. Let's see what this is. This is a picture that Joe just sent me this picture.
Yeah, Michael Chance won 7 races that night.
Yeah, I'm saving this picture so when Michael comes back
Jimmy
on.
Cruz, Buddy Gilmore, Hervé, and Michael Chance.
Jimmy Cruz. He had the barn at Roosevelt right by the track.
Right.
He had goats running and chickens running all over the place.
How you doing there, partner?
Yeah.
Everybody was partner.
And lots of mud from California.
Yeah, yep.
Remember the California mud?
Yeah.
Jimmy Cruz, what's your secret? Mud. California mud. So then when I forget who the hell it was. Oh, Ira Fattel. Then he started going down to the East River.
Yeah, they were taking the mud from the beach.
Selling them like they would come from California.
Yeah, they were going to the inlet, and
Yeah.
You find clams in it.
All right, here's the story. I got to tell this story because I called up my friend and told him, I asked him if it was all right to tell this story. When I was trained in thoroughbreds, I trained at just about every racetrack. Well, not every. Hialeah in Florida, Hialeah, Calder, and Gulfstream. And when I was in Florida, well, when I was at even Belmont and Aqueduct, I met them all. I met all the top trainers, all the big shots, all the Hall of Famers. I met the one guy that impressed me the most was this kid, Marty Digrius. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. He was a small trainer. He only kept maybe 5-10 horses, but somebody that we became very good friends, and I become friends with him because at that time he was the only thoroughbred trainer that knew what the hell he was talking about and knew what he was doing. So I called him up tonight and I says, Marty, I says, I found that picture of the race. It was the last race in Hialeah. And I found out that just tonight that he was in the hospital. He had a triple bypass. He had pains in his chest. He ran to the hospital and they operated him right away. He's in the hospital. It just happened the other day. Wow. So anyway, I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this picture now. So the last race at Hialeah, we're in the paddock. And the only trainer I was afraid of, if I had a horse I thought could win, would be Marty. All the rest of them, in my opinion, were just people I didn't pay no attention. The form was the form. But something happened where I think either Marty claimed this horse or he had this horse or something where Marty, whenever he was in a race, you had to be afraid because the horses were always in peak condition, top, sound, everything. So I'm in the paddock. It's the last race in Hialeah. I'm in the paddock and I says, Marty comes over to me, he says, well, we finally got in together. I says, yep. I says, and I just want you to know up front, I bet on my horse. And he says, so did I. And this was the finish. It turned out to be a 10-minute photo. They refused to make it a dead heat. We thought they were gonna. And when you see the photo, that's the only photo I have. It's at a bad angle, but that's the winner's circle photo. I won the race by, you couldn't even put a whisker in between them. So I beat it. I would have loved for it to be a dead heat because he was the only trainer I felt that was on par with not to brag, but with me at that place. And but I guess Marty, I know you're listening. I was just a hair better. Anyway, that's the story of that of that race. Let's see. This, I don't know if you know these, that's Alan Finkelson. Yeah. That's the job. John Manzies took his place when Alan died of cancer. John Manzi Jr. took his place, and that's his wife, and that's Bobby Parker, who owned the Concord Hotel, and that's his wife. That's the guy who rented me the Concord for 3 months, and I had horses with him, and I was the only guy and the only horseman invited to Alan Finkelson's daughter's wedding. I had horses, hotel owners up there.
On the day of your daughter's wedding?
On the day.
I made that first child.
You know what I have to say? You know what? Look at this. There's 40 things, and we got to go to the comments. Okay, Sundance. We'll start. Hi, Larry, Joe, and Eddie. Hi, Sundance. Sweet girl. She moved into a new apartment. She's got another apartment. She's been in a place for 30 years. They sold the house and threw her out, but she's better off now. The rent's cheaper. she's not married any longer, and she's living by herself, and she's right near her son, and she's right near me, so she's okay. Okay, who's this? Sweet Tea. Uh-oh, here's another one. Sweet Tea. Good looking girl. Good evening. Good evening, Sweet Tea. That's a good picture. Okay. How do I get rid of this picture here? Oh, I see. I know what I have to do. I have to go back to here. That's what I have to do. Yeah, I'm learning, folks, because this is kind of new to me.
It's only 120th podcast.
That's it. So now I go to I got to get rid of that first, then I go to the comments. Okay. Now here's your friend again there, whatever.
Angelique.
Hello. Still no.
Oh,
Okay. And Sundance says hi, how you say it? Angelique?
Angelique.
Hi.
Or Angel IQ.
This Sweet Tea looked nice. Pretty girl. We should have it. I don't know how to send the link out. So some guys, all these podcast guys, they know, I'll send you a link. Come on. I got to figure out how to do that. And this way I could send Angel Sweet Tea here a link and say, come on, talk with us. Get people on. I got to learn how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I got to figure that one out. Okay, let's see. Hello, Sundance. Hi, Angelique. Okay. Angelique, hi, Sundance. Okay, they're having a.
Hey, what do you got? Up and down, boom, boom, boom.
Come on now. Okay, hi, Sweet Tea. Are you here from Tommy's? Oh, let me send my condolences out to my friend. I just heard yesterday, that Tommy Steak's mother passed away. And it was a sad thing. She was sick for a while, and Tommy used to take good care of her. And they were very, very close. And she passed away. Yeah, my friend told me, and I sent my condolences right over. I know he took it real hard. They were very, very close, and I can only say, Tommy, I'm very sorry for your loss, and just stay strong. I think. Okay, Sundance, Joe Pesci, Sweet Tea, yes, Sundance from Tommy. Oh, she's from Tommy Steaks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sweet Tea, you just heard what I said, so it was sad. Nice to see you. Okay, Big Bone. They ran dogs out of Lincoln Downs. Well, you probably. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All I know is that they had thoroughbreds there. I was racing at all this Mickey Mouse racetracks when I heard Lincoln Downs was going to have a standardbred meet. I didn't know that Whitey Bulger and could control that whole area. So I went there, and so I don't know if they race dogs there. I know they race dogs wherever the Rooney's own, like Green Mountain, they race dogs. Okay, Eric. Hi, Larry. This is the first time in my life I'll watch a hockey game. Go USA. Yeah, that big hockey game is on tonight. I don't know what time it starts, but I guess everybody's going to be watching a hockey game, but that's okay because we don't know what the hell we're doing anyway. But we're going to wind up getting more people because they're going to go on that Instagram or whatever they call that. Sundance, Larry, I have a couple of pictures of you, Billy O'Donnell's 4,000 win, a triple dead heat to Barry Creek. Well, why don't you bring them? Send them to me. Send them. Okay, now, Rob, now they tow two behind them, fewer times out. Oh, he's talking about jogging horses. Yeah.
Jogging, yeah.
No, yeah. And there was a guy, I forgot what track it was. He actually had like he put a couple of screens bolted to the jog cart so he could jog 4 behind the gate and just have one. So he'd jog 5 at one time.
He was schooling them.
Okay. Sundance. I have that stand for my pad. Yeah, we'll give it to. I gotta buy. Everybody got it but Eddie. Pocono Downs began as thoroughbred track. Experimented with harness and never returned back to the flats. Rob, not playing, Larry.
Not to interrupt, I see it said, Eric, how is Carmine doing?
I don't know
What?
if that. I don't know if
Carmine
that's.
Apatello. How's he doing?
I don't know if
Oh,
that's.
he's good. He's doing good. He's doing well.
Oh, okay, good.
What's this mean? Not playing, Larry. I don't know what that means.
His last comment, and you didn't read it. I don't know what the hell it said, but
Here's his last comment. They now tow 2 behind them, fewer times out.
and they're not playing. What the hell? I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's better. I guess. Here's Francis. Good evening, gentlemen. Here's Francis. Hi, Francis.
Francis is back.
Francis is back. Beauties. A lot of pretty girls here. We should start. We should start. I wish I knew how to do this. The dating thing.
That's what I told you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Larry Rolla's match game.
Yeah, match game. Yeah, I got to figure out how to do that. Oh, what a finish. Oh, what a finish. Oh, she must have saw. Yeah. And I won the money. I bet 2,000 on him. And Alan Seawold bet 1,000. And that was it was all right. We went out and had dinner. What does this say? Larry, hope you are feeling better. I need a winner, Larry. Can't afford breakfast anymore because of the price of eggs. I hope my boy Trump takes care of that on day 747. God bless you, Larry. Well, the only thing I could tell you, because I was in that situation, I mean, I hope you're only kidding, and I'm sure you are. But there was a time when I was on the park bench. I used to walk into the supermarkets and just go shopping and make sandwiches as I was wheeling the cart up and down the aisles and then just leave the cart. At least you fill your stomach.
Yeah.
But you can't cook eggs on a shopping cart. Okay, Francis. Hiya. Okay, the girls are starting to make a girl gang now. So they're going to get, now we have to wait for Angelique to say hello to. Okay, they're all laughing.
Sweet tea. Where's sweet tea?
Sweet tea.
Hello. Hello.
Eddie. Hello, Larry, Joe, and Eddie. Hi, Ed.
Hey, oh, hi.
Yeah, okay.
Listen, anybody want to talk about any of them pictures that I put up or anything? We got to mix this thing up, folks. Elwood Blues. What's that?
He's one of the Blues Brothers.
Elwood.
Elwood.
Are you Jake's brother? Okay, they're having conversations. Kevin, but Sola's still alive. He'll be 97 this year. Kevin, if you know him or know how to get in touch with his daughter, there was a Christmas party that he filmed for me at the Concord Hotel in 1981. He had a whole crew there. He had a professional film crew, and he has the film. I never got a copy of it because right after that I got in some trouble. So Kevin, if you know him or know how to get a hold of his daughter, ask her if there's any way that I could buy that film from him or get a copy of it or something. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, Ed Lucchese. That's the guy. That was the guy, the main guy that saved me. He put me on the right track because I was really heading for hell. And he put me on the right track. The guy that the government said was the worst human being. And maybe he did a few things off color, and but he was head of the mob, that family, and they named it after him. And he was a tough guy. He was a killer. But he put me on the right track. When I went there, and my mother sent me there. She brought me there. She didn't send me there. She brought me there. And he said to me, he didn't even have to. The words that got me were, "Your mother is my friend, and you're breaking her heart with all your nickel and dime bullshit." Nothing else he said mattered, because once a man told me that, because I was alone in my whole life. I never listened to anybody. But once that man, not only coming from him, but the guy that it's coming from, saying them words to you, it made you think. And I straightened my life out until that other jerk got me started again. Okay. Tommy Riccardi. Oh, this guy Kevin must know a little bit. Tommy Riccardi was a Lucchese. Okay, look, I said Colombo. Okay, Lucchese. Was Lucchese yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's why Gas Pipe wanted to kill him and his whole because they were the New Jersey crew. And you're right. Kevin, you're right. You're right. I know that, but I forgot. I get them all mixed up. And do you know that now I was in South Jersey and I had a place that I've been to maybe 500 times. It's a straight run, and I had to put the GPS to get home. That's how bad my memory is getting. So you're right. It was he's a Lucchese crew, and Gas Pipe. They were gonna kill him. Gas Pipe was a lunatic, nuts. Okay, Kevin. Smokes and Gas Pipe wanted to whack the whole Jersey. Yeah, I just said that. You're right. You're right, Kevin. You're right. You're good. Kevin, do you know, remember when I first started this podcast and I had Jimmy on? Did you know Jimmy and his father, Juicy? I was wondering I don't know if you're from Jersey or not. Okay, Larry, glad to hear that, Larry. Francis. Did you know Jackie Cerrone from the Chicago mob? No. And how do you say her name? Angelique. Angelique. When I was in all the trouble that I was in, I had to stay where I was. I basically had my crew here. I had control of where I was, and I couldn't be traveling around. I didn't run a normal stable. I didn't do things that I should have did. I had to do what I had to do to stay alive, and I had no business going up to Chicago to race. If I had to stay right at Monticello, right where I was. I was in a perfect spot to do what I had, so I couldn't move around. Okay, Rob. Eddie Heisel won many races for me in Saratoga. Hell of a driver. Eddie Heisel was a great guy. And Eddie Heisel, someday, I think I told the story because there was a chapter in my book that had to do with Danny Manrique. And it was an unbelievable story. And at that time when I met Eddie Heisel, Danny Manrique, and I am not going to get into it, I'll just very, very briefly. Danny Manrique, Eddie Heisel wasn't doing well. He was with his father. And two really good guys. Eddie was a good guy and a really good driver. And when Danny wanted me to get involved with him, which I really couldn't, and someday I'll get into that whole story, I suggested Eddie Heisel. Eddie Heisel, he's a good guy, and that's how that picture came about and that story came about. but he's a good guy and a good driver. Okay, Francis, missed them all. Yeah. Okay, what is this? Wow. Just bought an egg salad sandwich. Uh-oh. Here comes something. Just bought an egg salad sandwich for Dinah, and it cost me $75. My question is for Joe. Do you think Trump will lower the price of eggs by day 500? I hope so. God bless, fellas. Okay, that's
Trump is doing a hell of a job. You know, he's saying that all of this billions of dollars from corrupted money that the Democrats robbed, that he's going to give the taxpayers back 20% of it. That's what he's saying. They found so much corrupt money that went to ridiculous things, Sesame Street in Iraq and LBGT in Afghanistan. They're finding billions and billions of robbed money. And he says they're getting so much money, they're going to give it 20% back to the taxpayers.
Joe.
Yes.
Angelique here is, she loves seeing all these pictures. So I'm just going to keep adding pictures and pictures, and maybe they'll get into.
You shut me off every time I talk about politics, man.
I can't help it.
You can't help it.
I can't help because you know why? Because I can't say what I want to say because I have three really, really good friends that think
I
different.
know, we know the story, but Trump is doing a hell of a job. They're going to admit it to you down the road.
He's doing an unbelievable job. And my whole thing, and the only thing I told my dear friends, and one of them is Shaman, Alfred's wife, and she just hates Trump, and she just disagrees with the whole Republican.
But we love her music. It has nothing to do with it.
So no, I
just
know that.
Because she hates Trump.
The only thing I don't ever talk politics with her. But the only thing I told her is this, and this is exactly how I feel. I really believe that whatever happens here in the United States, no matter how bad it is, it will eventually straighten itself out.
You said that, but last time it wouldn't.
For the job is for the rest of the world.
When you see what comes out in the next 6 months, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe the stuff that comes out of the corruption. You'll see.
All right. Gary D. Really great. Wait, what was this one here? What's this? She loves seeing all the pictures. Okay. Gary D. Really great show with all great memories and races. Well, we didn't even get started yet. We're gonna try to mix things up a bit around here. Larry, you were on a high level. Great, you can tell the world. Well, that never would happen. You know what happened once? I was sitting with Frankie Vincent having dinner with him, and I really don't remember. And they says, oh, I know what happened. Me and Shaman, we start, because they were doing music all the time. And we wrote a movie, me, Alfred, and Shaman. We wrote a movie because Alfred's daughter was, I know why. Yeah. Alfred's daughter was going to get into the movie business. So we wrote a movie called Masters of Deception, which, in my opinion, if it was ever made into a movie, it would be an Academy Award winner. It has twists and turns in it you wouldn't believe. And it's, in my opinion, right now is the perfect time for this movie. It's I can't get into it because it's a great movie. So anyway, we write this movie. Now we finish it all and we write it. And we buy that special thing you have to do to write the screenplay the right way, final draft, and we do the whole thing and everything else. And when I was dealing with the guy from The Sopranos, Gandolfini, I did him that big favor, which I guess most of you know about. I did him a big favor, and he says, anytime you need anything, want anything, just come and see me. So I was going to bring him that, but he was in Italy at the time. He had gotten married and went to Italy, and he wound up dying. So I couldn't do nothing with the script. So we just put it in a drawer and forgot about it, and that was the end of my screenwriting. And then one day we were out with I forget who it was, Frankie Vincent, I think, and he says, "Why don't you write a book about your life story?" Because Frankie knew of me and he knew of all the things I was doing. Because Frankie had a colorful life too as a young guy. He grew up with Alfred and Joe Pesci, and they played. They had a comedy group, they had a musical group, they had a real good band, and they started in the movies together. And so while they were young, they all played in all the Wise Guy joints, so they knew all the Wise Guys. And so he says, and he knew of my story, especially because a lot of it happened in New Jersey, where Frankie was from, where Bert was from. So he says, "Why don't you write your story? What happened to you?" He says, "Nobody will believe it, but it's true." And he says, "And I'll send it, and maybe we can get a movie out of it." So that's how I wrote. That's how I wrote the book. But when I wrote the book, they says it can't be more than 85,000 words, and each
You got to
chapter.
send me a copy of your book, Larry. You know, I never read your book.
You never read my book?
No,
Oh,
I didn't.
Do
You
I
got to
have?
send me a copy.
I have your address. No, I threw it out because I just got these things. I threw you out. But send when this is over. Text me your address. I'll send you a book out.
Larry, Larry,
Eddie,
that
just
thing
1
you
second.
wrote.
Eddie, I just sent you the Kamala Harris book. The address will be the return address.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, Eddie.
All right. Go ahead, Eddie.
That thing, what you should do is you send that copy to William Morris Agency in California. It's on Rodeo Ride. You just send that right to William Morris, and they'll read it, and they'll set you up with writers, screenplay, everything.
I'm already hooked up pretty good, Eddie.
No, I'm just saying that one that you wrote with
Oh, you mean the other one, Masters of Deception?
Yes. Take that and send it to William Morris Agency in California.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell how long we've been on, an hour, and I'm going to tell you a 5-minute version of this story. No, I can't because I'll get too far into it. But it's an unbelievable story with an unbelievable middle. It's an unbelievable beginning, middle, and end. Twist. It's just unbelievable. In fact, if there's anybody out there, there's nobody out there that listening.
So tell it. Where are we going? Tell it quick.
If there's anybody, you really want me to tell it quick?
You could have told half of it already, telling us why you're not telling it. Go ahead.
There's this. Oh God. There's I'll say it real quick, as fast as I could. You're gonna miss a lot, but I'll tell you real quick. Just fill in the blank. So, there's 3 little kids, 2 twins, two boys that are twins, identical twins. Can't tell them apart, and a little girl. Their mother and father both die in a car accident. They're put in a foster home. As the kids get 6, 7, 8 years old, the one kid, one of the boys, he gets restless and he runs away from the home. He hops on a train. He winds up from California. He winds up in New York City. In New York City, he winds up down in Little Italy, and he's hanging out there. And before you know it, the wise guys see him. Hey, kid, where do you live with? Because he's all dirty and raggedy, and they take care of him. And he becomes like their little kid. And they let him sleep in the clubhouse and everything else.
Spider, that little spider.
Yeah, he becomes very, very friendly with the boss's son, who's about 22, 23 years old. And and they become very friendly. So now the boss treats him like a son. Now, as the years go by, this kid, it's a mob family, the mob, one of the mob families.
We figured that out.
Okay. So now the kid's like 20 years old, and the boss of the family that he's with, we'll call it the Murata family, just to use a name.
All right.
The boss of the Murata family gets very, very sick, but he's having a problem with another family, very much like the Colombos and the Lucchese's back in the day, in the 80s, when they were at war with each other. The Lucchese's are trying to kill, we'll call them the Lucchese's, are trying to kill the Muratas. So one day they blow him up pretty bad. It's a third attempt on his life, but this time they almost killed him. They blow him up. They blow him up in his car as he's buying fruit in the fruit market, and he's in the hospital. He's in the hospital and he's all wired up. His jaw is busted. He's just in a full cast. So he calls his boss of Carmine, his underboss, and he's talking like through his jaw is wide. He says, listen, he says, what he's saying is, go to the other three bosses and tell the other three bosses we need a meeting. We got to get rid of this guy's. Not only is he trying to kill me, he's wrong and he's causing a lot of heat to all of us. We have to get rid of him, but you need the full commission to agree for that. So he goes to all the three guys and they say, okay, but we can't have this meeting for another month because so-and-so is going to Italy. He'll be back in a month. We'll have this meeting. You're not going anywhere anyway. You're in your thing. So he says, all right. Now the problem is not figuring this out the next day. The problem is that he ain't going to be able to make this meeting. He's in a full cast. And the doctors say you'll be like this for months. If the meeting don't take place, they're going to wind up killing him. It's just going to be an all-out war when he gets out. So what he says is, listen, he says, I screwed it up already. When the old man died, he left the boy, 22-year-old boy, as the boss. When they made him the boss, the other family resented that, and they tried to kill him. He was the one they tried to kill 3 times. So now the boss is the kid is now the boss. So he says, listen, if we don't make this summit meeting, they're gonna wipe us out. We have to make this summit meeting and get rid of this guy. He's a cancer. So he says, I have a twin brother. He lives in California. He told him the whole story. He's identical. Go to California, look up his name. He's probably living with my sister, and bring him back here. He's identical. I don't know what he's doing, but he'll take my place at the summit. They go out to California. They find him. He's a stone fag. He's gay. A stone gay guy who runs. Anyway, now they bring him back. He don't want to come back, but they bring him back. Now they're teaching this guy who they're identical how to be a mobster. Get rid of the lisp, get rid of the earrings, get rid of the piercings, and get rid of all his mannerisms, and turn this gay guy into a mobster for the meeting. And that's how it begins. But then it gets better and better and better and better. And I screwed it up already anyway, but you get the general idea.
Yeah,
okay.
Straighten out a gay
Send
guy.
it to William Morris. I'm telling you.
Let's go
Send
back.
it.
You are the first one to call me Angel. Who's that? Angel. Oh, Angel.
IQ. Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Angel IQ. Angel. I don't know.
If you said how to
But
pronounce it, I said,
you cut her name short.
no.
Angel
Larry
IQ.
says, how do you pronounce it? I said Angelique or Angel IQ.
How about you, Angel? Why can't you just call her Angel? Angel's good. I can't say the last half. I can't say IQUE. I don't say that. Angel. Is that all right, Angel? Okay.
She's laughing, so she's okay.
Okay, Larry, I just found a picture of our horse Irish accent. Yeah, well, I ain't got it. I can only show it. I got it. Kevin, sorry to hear about Tommy's mother. I did not know that. Yeah, she just passed, I think, day before yesterday. He was very heartbroken. I don't think he did his show that day. I used to tune into his show every morning without fail at 7:00. After I got this health issue that I'm dealing with, when I get up in the morning, I get up about 6:30, and it was perfect for me because I'd make coffee, and then I would turn on his show and have my coffee and breakfast, watching his show and participate in his show. But that's not the case anymore. I have a colostomy bag. I have a bag on the side, and when you get up, you gotta go through a whole ritual, and and I'm like a fanatic. It takes me like an hour and a half to clean everything and fix everything up.
All right, Larry, that's enough. We don't got to get into the detail.
So that's why, and I never said that before, but Tommy must be wondering why I stopped tuning in. And so now he knows, and the whole world knows. But now that I said that, I just want you all to know that I went for a special test that they have, and it is a special test. I think it was created with the help of AI, and there's only 2 doctors in this whole area that have this test, that do this test, and it takes about 2 weeks for you to get results because it's a very sophisticated test, and it tells you just by your blood if there's any trace of cancer at all in your system. So I took the test right after my operation because with my operation, they took out 20 inches of the big tumor in my intestines and 16 lymph nodes, and they cleaned everything out. They put a bag on the side that they said it could be reversible if when the lab tests come back, there's nothing more that they have to take out. So I got this test, and the test come back saying that it was a positive test. So that was not good. But the positive, it wasn't 100% positive. It was 0.08% that there was cancer. And they told me that if I take 6 months worth of chemotherapy, that chances are this would completely go away. Now, ever since COVID, and ever since Joe Rogan, and ever since ivermectin come into the picture, I really dove into that, and I am totally convinced that cancer is caused by parasites, and they have a lot to do with it. And that the main thing that cancer, now ivermectin was just invented in I think 78, 79. It's just brought out to the public in 1980, 81, and the first place they used it was to deworm horses, and but they found out that the people that were fooling with this stuff were doctors and scientists and everything. And they says when the COVID came, they says, well, in their mind they tested if the ivermectin would kill the COVID virus, and it did. And they were giving it to all the people the people that knew, doctors that would do it. They would give them ivermectin, and they got rid of the COVID. In fact, Joe Rogan says he got COVID-3. He started taking that. He got rid of it in 3 days, along with many of his friends, and 2 of his friends or 3 of his friends, I think, had cancer, terminal cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and when they went back for their checkups, they found out that these guys that took the ivermectin for COVID, the cancer was gone. And that's what started the whole thing. So the only problem I had was finding so what I did was I ordered 2 tubes of ivermectin for the horse wormer, and I was just going to divide it into 10s. Because if you give a horse a human drug, you times it by 10,
Right.
you're just going to take 10% of what they gave me. But I investigated real quick, and I found out that 90% of the ivermectin drugs that are out there are bootleg bullshit. But there was a good friend of mine who went to college with a very famous doctor, and she called this doctor, and the doctor said it's true. Ivermectin does have that effect, and she says a good friend of mine went into that area, and he's the only one I would trust. So they put me in touch with him, and sure enough, he made me fill out, got me all my records and everything else. And he put me on he gave me 1 package. It lasts for 3 months. In it is ivermectin, two other drugs that would help ivermectin, parasite killers, and a very, very strong antibiotic, and 1 or 2 other things.
And CoQ10 is one of them, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, because I know the whole story about that. There was something on 60 Minutes years back. They gave a guy 6 months, and he's still living. This is like 40 years, and it was from ivermectin. My daughter's a nurse. She told me about it.
The problem is that it's all bootleg out there. You got to get. Now, I know that there's one place in India that's a legitimate thing, because 2 friends of mine, since then, now everybody calls me, since then, they found a place in India that's legit, because they already bought it and already cured 3 people already. So you know that that's the real stuff. But you got to be careful. There's so much bootleg stuff out there. Everything is bootleg.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take it. And the reason I decided to go that way was because I had a little bit of experience. People who read my book know about Dr. Burton in the 70s and 80s. But when I asked the surgeon, when they came back and said, yes, it is cancer, and this and this and this, and the recommended treatment, it's just like they open the book, operation, cancer. Okay, operation, take the cancer out, turn the page, chemotherapy, radiation. Okay. I says, well, I'm not going to do that. And they says, well, that's your right. I says, look, I have a little experience in this area. First of all, it has the cure rate for cancer with chemotherapy is 94% failure. Why would I, especially at my age, So I says, I'm going to go with the ivermectin, and they had no problem with that. But the good thing is, before I started the ivermectin, I took the test, and the test come back 0.08, which is hardly anything.
Right.
So now I got to take that test every 3 months. Now I've been on ivermectin for a week now. So I'm going to see at the end. They gave me a 3-month supply. Cost me $380, $400 for the consultation and all the paperwork and everything else. And then the package he sent me cost, it's all prescription drugs.
Right.
He's a legitimate doctor, cost $680. And I take them all. And no side effects, no nothing. The ivermectin is the only one I take on an empty stomach. I don't have lunch, so I take it at lunchtime. And we'll see what happens. So now everybody knows the whole thing about me, and so I don't have to worry about answering questions anymore. But that's the reason I haven't been on the show, because in the mornings it's just a task that I have to do, and by the time I'm done, your show is over, and so I'm sorry.
I'm going to call my daughter, and I'm going to get the name of that story for you, the name of the guy. It's very interesting.
I got I have it. I could send it to you. I
wanted it for you.
Oh.
About the ivermectin, about this guy that they gave him 6 months, and he was He's still living.
Oh, you got another guy.
A guy that my daughter found out about with the ivermectin, that it cured him.
Yeah.
It actually cured him. I'm going to get you the story.
I could name probably 15, 20 people I know right now that would basically given up for dead. And it cured them. It's unbelievable. In fact, if you go to Joe Rogan and you punch in that movie, who's that movie star? Good looking guy. He's right on the show. And he says when COVID happened, he had 3 friends who were very, very sick with cancer, stage 4, whatever. He says, I put them on ivermectin. He says they're alive today. That famous who plays in all them gladiator movies and everything, the actor. Oh God. Anyway, I'll tell you right away. Who?
Russell Crowe?
No. The other guy that plays with all
Mel Gibson.
What? Mel Gibson? Yeah, Mel Gibson. Yeah, go punch in Joe Rogan, Mel Gibson, ivermectin, and you'll hear that whole story. It's unbelievable. In fact, the doctor told me that once Joe Rogan let this out, he says, I can't come up. To get an appointment with him, you got to wait 3 months. The only reason I got it is because my friend went to school with his friend. And when I called her up and says, I can't get an appointment with this guy for 3 months. If this was a serious situation, I'd be dead in 3 months. She says, I'll call you right back. She called me back an hour later. She says, you're having a Zoom call with him tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. And in 40 minutes, I had everything done. So now everybody knows the story. Okay. Alex, hi, Larry and gents. Hope you are doing well. Did you or any of your guests have any interactions with Bruce Ranger or David Ingraham? I saw both of them race at Pompano Park. Yeah, both good guys. Bruce Ranger, both great guys. Good guys.
Both good friends of mine. I used them both in Rockingham. I used them in Pompano. Anytime I came to Florida, I used Dave's condo back in the day. Both good friends of mine.
Yeah, they're both good guys. Good guys in a tough business.
Yep.
Okay, Edward, Larry, interested to hear your opinion on Alan Sewell as a thoroughbred trainer. Well, what can I say? Alan was a good friend of mine. Alan helped me out. Alan helped me out when I really needed help. He let me put horses under his name. He let me operate a whole training stable under his name. He let me live with him. He was just a good guy and a good friend. And all I can say is that he belonged. He belonged there. He was a thoroughbred trainer. Okay.
Eddie, we haven't heard too much from you, Eddie.
No, it's I'm just listening, relaxing.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Started at 8:20. One late in one.
The hockey
late.
game.
Oh, 1-1 in the first period. Thank you, Steve. Vinny, Larry, was it true the lines broke and Insco jumped on horses? Yeah, that happens. It don't happen.
That was Hervé. It was Hervé.
It happened with Hervé. It happened with Sid Mosea's kid, Jack Mosea. It happened with Jack. It happened with me. It happened with Ronnie and Gracia. It happens. That's why Steve Siegelman, Bobby Siegelman had an owner who invented a line that was attached to remember that double buckle where it was attached to the or somewhere.
Yeah.
Bit broke or something.
Artie Gray invented that. It was Artie Gray, the judge. The judge that you met, Artie Gray, invented those lines.
Yeah, but no, it
was like a safety.
Yeah, and it was a good safety because it happens a lot, and it's a little scary when you're going 40 miles an hour and you're in the middle of 8 or 10 horses in the middle of the pack, and the line break, the bit breaks, and you have no control, and you're just sitting there, just saying, "Am I going to die? Am I going to be paralyzed? Am I going?" And before you, as this is happening, all of a sudden, you get in one of these terrible pileups, so, but they didn't. It didn't catch on. Hockey game is 1-1. Thanks, Sundance. Freddie Hudson. Hi, everybody. Hi, Freddie.
Hey, Fred.
Freddie, you come up
What's
with
up, Fred?
come up with a great idea. I can't say it, but he come up with a great idea. And here's the guy that's trying to save the business. And I don't want to get into it. I get sick. But anyway, you got a good idea, Freddie. And I hope it works.
That Heiser came to Belmont,
Oh, yeah.
Larry.
Tell that story.
Well, Heiser came to Belmont to observe the condition of the training track and the pony track. And what they did was they canceled breezing for 2 days. And I think the assembly woman is coming tomorrow. I forget who the heck the name is, to Belmont between 7 and 7:30 tomorrow to evaluate a lot of things. So, they're getting, Heiser's payroll is $80 million a year. That's where Trump's got to move in. That's the people that are sitting down doing nothing. Joe.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, all you got to mention is the T word.
You
The
guys
T word.
war chant, Coco, C, or Senator. What does that mean? Can anybody decipher that? You guys
What is that?
Remember,
war
chant,
chant, Coco, C, or Senator.
Coco C.
They got to be horses' names, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's 3 horses or 1 horse.
Me neither.
War chant?
Vinny, when you send questions in, you have to kind of make them almost idiot-proof. For me, I don't know what that means. Okay, Larry. Other than Pete Rose, any famous athletes you would see regularly gambling at the track?
Yep.
At Pocono and Penn National, I would see Sam Bowie of NBA and Richie Allen of Phillies.
Mickey Rivers was at Yonkers every night.
I know during the winter meet down in Pompano, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Steinbrenner, all of them would be there, but they weren't bettors. They would just come there.
Mickey Rivers was
Friendly with, well, they would bet too, but I mean, they weren't like degenerate bettors like
me and you.
I mean, you hear the stories of some of these guys lose hundreds of millions of dollars gambling. And that's the way I was going to take this show. I have a couple of gamblers that lost hundreds of millions of dollars at the casinos. And I have a guy whose father, well, I'm not going to get into that. But I was going to go that route and have all big heavyweight gamblers come on how much money they lost. But things just took different directions. But we can do shows. In fact, I gotta call him up.
You know who's a big gambler? Jay Black from Jay and the Americans.
Yeah.
He was a big gambler.
Yeah, he was friends with Gotti. They'd lose together.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because people like, you'd never think about it. Gladys Knight lose over $100 million gambling. Not 100 million, 30 million gambling.
Mm-hmm.
That guy who wrote what the hell was his name? Michael Melch, something like that. Great.
Michael Melkin or something.
No, he wrote the TV series Luck, and he lost over $100 million. Lost over $100 million betting horses at Santa Anita.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And I know there's a lot of movie actors were Judy Garland's husband, Sid Luft, sick degenerate gambler. When I went out there to buy Judy Garland's library, he had her rights sold to 3 different people. Thank God I had an attorney that knew of that.
It would have been 3 different people.
I had it pre-sold to Homebox.
It's worse than the horses. Thank you, Francis.
Yeah.
Thank you, Francis. All right.
Larry, you don't want to hear it.
Nothing I don't want to hear it. I don't want to get anybody.
All you got to do is have common sense. Forget about what people think. It's the truth.
Sooner or later. Look. Here's the thing. You see, like I just think differently, but most of the time, I keep it to myself. Like everybody's saying, like the thing you mentioned, they're going to give 20% of whatever they find what was being robbed. They're going to give 20% back to the people who took it. And some of the people are saying, well, I think it should all go back to the
Deficit.
to the deficit. And I think different. And I'll tell you an example how I think. If you have a dirty load of clothes, it's dirty, and you have a whole cup of detergent, and somebody says, that's a waste. It's too much. You overdid it, and we're taking it away. How are you going to wash the clothes if you take it away? Leaving 20%, it's enough to wash the clothes. You still got 80%. You stop the thievery. So that's the way I just think differently. And some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. The one that bothers me the most that he's doing now, and I know, and the whole world knows that he has a plan. But why are you fooling around with this guy from Ukraine? Why are you calling back and forth? Because he said something he shouldn't have said. You said, and I'm sure Trump is going to win, and I'm sure he's going to stop the war and everything else. But he's the kind of guy, you just have to know it.
Ukraine is so corrupt.
Yeah, and
you know how much kickbacks they got from Ukraine, the Democrats?
Yeah, I know.
Millions and millions of dollars.
He never said nothing until the president of Ukraine, start badmouth and said something he shouldn't have said.
Because he's trying to save lives, Larry. They got to end that war. It's useless.
All right. Okay.
Larry, the guy got back 30 hostages already. He's ending the war in Ukraine. You haven't heard boo from Iran. He's helping Israel. I mean, he's finding the corruption. He's doing everything he said. Politicians don't do that. They lie. He's doing everything he said. Give the guy a shot. He's doing the right thing.
Okay, Ed, who's your top 3 thoroughbred trainers with small stables that are great but don't have the stock to compete with the big boys besides yourself? It's a shame to know so many good horsemen are starving. That's a very, very good question. It's impossible to answer. You know why it's impossible to answer, in my opinion? Because the guy with 3 horses or 4 horses is never going to be. He's
never get the opportunity.
He's got no chance. He's never going to be.
At any given time, a small trainer is going to beat. Not all the time or most of the time, but sometimes they will beat the top trainers, like I've done. I'd love to. When I compete, I love to race against Fletcher, Brown, and Clement, and all the guys that have all the money and everything. And then when I win, I am so happy and honored that I beat the caliber of trainers that they are, because of their finance backing and because of their talent, and it's really an achievement that I am very proud of myself when I do beat these people. And most of the trainers that compete with them, the small stables like John Toscano and who else? There's a couple of guys. that have 6, 7 horses. Dominic Schettino, Patty Reynolds, who had Big Brown. But everybody is diminishing now because of the expense is hard to keep up with at the track. Very hard.
Now,
the small train is up.
The kid that I mentioned I showed you the dead heat, Marty Digras. He's one of them kids that you're talking about. Top trainer, very, very, very sharp. Played by the rules, nothing but hay and oats, a little help here and there, only when they needed it, nothing breaking the law or nothing. And every horse that hit the racetrack but it was so far that I mean, he raced one horse a month. He only had 3, 4 horses. He raced. Nobody knew who he was. He'd show up. They paid no attention to him, even though he might have, if he started 30 horses, he'd win 10 races. But nobody paid attention because he was never in any standings because of the number of starts or anything else. So them poor guys, they have no shot, and they and nobody paid attention to them. They all go
last year. I won. I came in second in small trainers with 10 horses or less, and I won $16,000 from Naira. It was an honor to compete against trainers that been in the game longer than me, way longer, and came up on top. And which I like the achievements and the how would you say, the challenges that the game throws at you, because your back is against the wall 24/7 at that track. If you don't have Heiser, you got guys with 400 horses competing against you. It's tough. And like I said,
rewarding. Could be very
yes,
rewarding.
it's very. Like I got right up in the racing form, and it was an honor. I got written up in the sports eye when I ran in the complex series at Meadowlands with the harness. These are stuff that you're proud of what you do, and you take the time and talent, and from experience. I mean, Larry, I thought, and I always praised you as a hell of a trainer back in the day at Pompano, when the man of the year, Stanley Dancer, sent you a horse that he could not get to the races. He had 2 bow tenders, Neverly Leader. I would never forget that day and you are a hell of a horseman and a hell of a person. So I have to give you gratis.
Me is like talking about Trump. On to the next thing.
Hey, that's a compliment. Larry, that's a big compliment, man.
Look at this. Look at this guy.
What a compliment you just got. Wow.
I'd rather tell the bad stories than the good stories.
Well, what do you want me to call you? Dirtbag? That's ridiculous.
I don't want it to sound like you.
I'm not trying to publicize you. I think you're a hell of a horseman.
Okay.
That's period.
Can each of you tell us your biggest horse scores you made over your careers? I get it has to be one bet. It can't be for the because one time I mean I have a couple, but the most I ever won on one bet was probably on one horse race, not sports, on one horse race, was probably the Wildwood Jeb parlay that I did. I think I won maybe 60,000, 70,000, I think.
Larry, is this a true story that when you were at Lincoln Downs, you hit a superfecta for you took the whole pool down?
I don't remember. Me and Donald was with me back then at the time, and Donald loved to play them things, and I'd go partners with him, and I really don't know, because back then I was kind of I got heavily involved with that Whitey Bulger bullshit, and every night I was looking to recruit different guys. So Donald was doing most of that. Well, we were partners, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know, at the end of the night, he'd say, here's 2,000, 4,000, well, whatever, you know. But so I don't know.
Just another day at the races for Larry.
Yeah. You also got to remember, it's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But Donald Catarano was the guy that. So that's it. Joe, you must have made a big score. I don't even know if you were a bettor. I know you bet sports. You bet sports as much as me, but I don't know about the horses.
Yeah, I bet the horses too, of course.
You bet legit.
All I could tell you, in 1987, when the Twins won the World Series, I'm pretty sure it was 87, that in 10 weeks, but it was a combination of sports, football, baseball, and horses. I made $660,000 in 10 weeks. So that was, but I can't pinpoint. Maybe 1 week I won 200,000, but in 10
How
weeks.
fast did you lose it?
Put it this way. Christmas Eve, Christmas week, I owed 144,000, and I only had 90,000 left to pay him. I thought I was dead because I spent all the money. I claimed like 15 horses. I bought 2 Eldorados. I lived like a king, and I didn't have all the money. Al, the bookmaker, thought I was joking. He said, "What?" He says, I gave you almost $750,000, he said to me, and you don't got 144,000? I said, what can I tell you? But it all worked out.
So guys out there, just let me say that I wrote a book, and my story is in the book. Joe didn't write a book, but his stories are just as on caliber with mine.
Yeah.
Except I didn't have to get a ride out of Yonkers in an ambulance.
We got to retell that story one day. Some people didn't hear it. That's a great story.
Okay. Great book and easy read.
Francis.
Oh, yeah, I think I did send her a book. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see it as a movie, champ. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I just sent all the films that Joe gave me and the Thoroughbred films to a friend of mine that's very good doing recreating things from AI. If we could perfectly create a horse race the way we want, just by feeding AI hundreds of races, and then somehow, however they do it, I'm going to wind up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably try to raise the money, maybe $5, $6, $7 million, and try to make the movie myself. I got a phone call. Yeah. No, I'm on podcast. Goodbye.
Yeah, I got a phone call.
I was just advised that the sweeper comes tomorrow morning.
Oh, I'm sure Joe Rogan gets those calls too.
Okay, I'd love to see the movie. I'd like to see it too. It'll probably happen. It's getting really close, but things keep changing all the time. Okay, Sundance, Larry, I don't have your book either. I was going to call you and ask you, Sundance, are you crazy? You lived in my house for a week. There's books all over the place. I talk to you every other day. Just tell me you need a book. Well, are you going nuts? Unbelievable. No, nobles don't have it. When I was told to self-publish the book. My friend said, help me with that. They asked me if I wanted in Barnes and Nobles and all the other stores where you have to go with the signings and all that bullshit. I said, no, all I want is one book to send to California. The only place you can get it is on
I think you were looking for bookmakers, not books.
The only place you can get it is where can you get it on YouTube? On Amazon. You got to get it on Amazon. Okay. So Sundance, there's a book here for you next time you come. Larry used to come to the barn with a little box of tricks, pictures, and funny stories. Bring the box here, Sundance.
I think that's needles and syringes.
Okay, what's that mean, Joe? Angel says, that's good, Joe. It made me laugh.
What did I say?
Oh, the story.
Oh, it's true. What I tell you?
Yes, that is totally fine, Larry.
I'm glad I made you laugh, Angelique. It's good to laugh.
Angel.
Angelique.
Larry, ladies, Larry was picked to be the Marlboro Man, and he turned it down. Yeah, I should tell that story. I showed that picture, didn't I? Show when I was showing pictures, I showed that picture. That's a true story. I turned it down. Another good move.
What the hell's wrong with you, Larry?
And you know, the
USA is winning, huh? 2-1.
What's that?
The hockey 2-1 USA.
2-1, middle of the second, USA. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Freddie Hudson, Art Gray invented the safety line.
That's what I just said. I just told you that, the judge.
Oh, okay.
Remember you were talking about it? I said Artie Gray invented it.
Freddie,
You met that judge, Larry.
I did?
Yeah, when you had that meeting that time with John Campbell. Remember you met with John Campbell that day? You met a judge, Artie Gray. It was John Campbell, you, and Artie Gray, and somebody else.
I don't remember.
It was 6 months ago.
6 months ago?
Yeah. You told me you had a meeting with, I think, 4 people. John Campbell.
I haven't seen John Campbell in years.
Well, it was a phone call or something between. Maybe it was with Freddie Hudson. I don't remember.
Oh, that was the call with Freddie Hudson and Billy O'Donnell.
And Artie Gray.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Maybe it was a phone call. Okay.
Larry, Freddie Hudson, tell them the HISA watchdog that we were setting up. Tell them the HISA watchdog that we were setting up. I think he wants me to mention what I wasn't going to mention. Freddie Hudson is setting up a committee, a team that's going to be the watchdog over HISA. They will watch every move HISA makes.
You count me in.
And he's starting to put that together. And I thought I was told not to say nothing because that's what I meant before when I said that's a really good idea. And I think that would be a great idea. Not only that, but if he does that and he heads that and puts it all together, which he's in the middle of doing now, he can get paid for that because all the thoroughbred trainers, all the farm, the breeding farm, all the farms, everybody, he'll figure out a way how to pay it. And all he has to do is just go to them and say, look, this is what I got. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be recommending things. I'm going to be
but
watching.
Now you just gave it up.
Huh?
You just gave it up. You don't want HISA to know that.
Well, he told me, he says, tell them HISA. What do you think? HISA watches this thing?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wish Freddie would come down to Belmont.
You mentioned Lazarus
more
than the Bible.
Freddie
Lisa
used to
Lazarus.
show a lot. Freddie used to come on the show a lot. And
see if Freddie would come down to Belmont.
And Freddie and I asked Freddie, we were talking because we talk all the time, and he's a good guy and a good friend, and super good guy. and did more for the horseman than the horseman even realized, all on his own dime. And he finally come up with this idea where, here's Freddie now. Freddie just called me. Hello, Freddie.
Hey,
all right, you're on speakerphone so they can hear you.
okay, you can put me on speakerphone.
Okay.
Hey, Freddie.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, can you hear him?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good, Freddie. I wish you would come down to Belmont and come to the trainer stand about on Saturday around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I would love to do that, but I'm in Virginia.
Oh, you're in Virginia? Well, when you have free time, when you come up, just let Larry know, and maybe I could set something up in that trainer's booth, and then you could maybe talk to some of these trainers and propose what you want to do.
Freddie, are you on your way down to Florida now?
Okay, I'd love to do that.
You getting some kind of echo, Freddie.
In Washington, D.C.
Freddie, I think you got to turn the computer off or something because you're getting an echo. But anyway, the voice is fine when you speak, but when they talk, it's an echo. So
Ask Freddie if he's on his way to Florida with Sal DiMario.
it's better now, yes.
Okay, muted it. So,
All right, Joe asked you a question.
Are you on your way down to that meeting in Deerfield with Sal DiMario?
Repeat that. You came in a little blurry.
Are you on your way down to Florida?
No. I'm not
Okay.
going down there. That's for the Impact Awards. I assume that we.
Right, yeah. Sal DiMario is a good friend of mine. And
So
he
what we're doing right now is Marty Irby had sat down with Lisa Lazarus, and this is right after HISA was formed. And so Marty Irby, at her recommendation, had said that we should have a watchdog group over HISA.
Okay.
And, so Marty said, great. So he was with the Animal Wellness Action at that point. And so he decided to set it up. And so he did set it up. And nothing was done since 2023 on it. So September 23 was the last thing that Marty ever did because he left the Animal Wellness Action. So I had a long conversation yesterday with Marty. And so he's going to help me or assist me in setting the HISA watchdog up. And so I want to set up a group to oversee HISA, and I pretty much know what to do, and so we're moving in that direction. And any input, positive and negative, I want to hear it.
Good, very good.
No, I got a lot of negative, but I can definitely help you out in that category.
But we're going to record it all, and we're going to put it up there. I'm setting up the website right now, and so there's a lot of work to be done. And Washington D.C.
Freddie, Freddie, HISA came to Belmont the other day, and they were inspecting the training track and the pony track. They shut down the breezing. They just had the horses jogging for 2 days because the maintenance on that track is terrible. It's like Jones Beach, and it clumps up like when it gets icy. It's a mess. Any horse with soft tissue, man, they dropping suspensory, bone tendons, fracturing. It's terrible.
So much.
So you're saying the soft tissue injuries are the most prominent there, but was this the same way like 20 years ago?
Excuse me?
So was it the same way 20 years ago?
No. See, years ago, it used to be basically, now it's 60% clay, 40% dirt. See, Aqueduct is the opposite. It's 60% dirt, 40% clay. But that track is horrendous. It's so deep when they water it and harrow it, and it's hard as a rock. It's really horrible. But like I said, Heisa came down and looked at it, and some assembly woman's coming down tomorrow. I forget her name, but she's going to be there to speak to a lot of the trainers. You know.
I wish I was in the area because I'd be up there to be there, but just still wait for me to get up here from Virginia. So.
When you got some time and when you're back up here, just let Larry know, and maybe we could set up something.
I will get up with you, and I definitely want to go over there and walk the track with you.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
We are 100% committed to putting up a very, very fair HISA watchdog, and we're going to report the good and the bad. And so, bottom line.
That's good. That's great to hear that somebody's going to watch it, because they get paid $80 million a year.
Yeah, well, that's the whole budget, but that's the whole budget. But I think that's what the total funding is. And what we haven't, harness racing is not included at this particular point.
Yeah.
And I don't see harness racing coming in for quite a while. I just don't see it happening for another 2 years.
If they came into harness racing, forget it. They wouldn't last a month.
I didn't hear you on that, but
I said if they came into harness racing, the sport wouldn't last 1 month.
not necessarily true. But the biggest problem that we have with our sport right now is like everything that's going on with the track closures and the thing going on with the decoupling in Florida is major. We have to fight against that. The whole industry, thoroughbreds and standardbreds, have to fight against it. And if we could prevent this from happening in Florida, we could probably prevent it from spreading to other states, which it will do. And from my understanding, from what I hear, is the Delaware is a target, Indiana, and then if the Spanish group sells Santa Anita and the San Luis Rey Training Center, racing in California is done. So there's a lot of things that we have to fight for at this particular point to save horse racing.
Yeah. You know, Belmont last month, they had, I think, 11 catastrophes, 11 horses that had to be euthanized due to cannon bones and, I don't know, a whole bunch. But what they're doing, to what I heard, covering up, they're sending the horses that break down on the track over to the hospital across the street, Cornell. and they're basically euthanizing the horses, and it's like a cover-up because they don't report it. Because you can't sue the track.
And I've seen that. I've been watching it because I'm actually recording all of the horse deaths, and I am including racing, training, and stall injuries. So I have the full reports on those things. That only reports the racing-related deaths from 72 hours after.
Yes, yeah, that's all. It's 70. Yeah. They only report the tragedies in horse racing, not on the training tracks, and that's where most of your breakdowns are, on all these facilities. You've seen it at parks on that turf course.
Okay, what they have announced today is that they are now going to be adding the training. So they're going to now be recording the training deaths along with it, which is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I have seen many race-related deaths that have taken place that because they only report 72 hours, but the horse died 5 days later, so he's now considered a stall death or a training death, not a race-related death. So I have been watching that, and so we're working on that.
Do you know that?
I love you guys' feedback on this because I am a horseman and I come from third generation here, so we're trying to do what is best for the industry.
All right.
Right. Sounds good, buddy. I'll be hearing from you when you come back or whatever, and we'll get together. Thank you, Freddie.
I'm gonna hang up now, and I'm gonna switch back to the live feed.
Okay.
Because, I'm
Freddie,
myself
take care, Freddie. Thanks for all you're doing.
frozen staring at.
All right. All right.
Okay, Fred, thank you.
All right. Bye. He's a wealth of information, that guy. He's very, very.
Yeah.
I don't think harness racing, if the restrictions are as tough as you say, Eddie, I don't think harness horses will be able to race.
No, because their
I don't know if you understand
injuries
what I
are
meant.
their injuries they race with. The standardbreds, they're like steel. I mean, their bone structure and everything is different.
I can tell you this from the conversations I had with a few people, including Freddie. Honest racing will never accept HISA in the form and rules that the way it is right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I meant by it.
You
It's gonna
don't
last a
have to
month.
worry about it, and that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Four practicing vets just left Belmont. Dr. Hunt, right? His entourage, 3 people quit. Heiser is trying to get rid of these regular vets and hiring their own. And
listen to me, Eddie. Listen.
Yeah.
You have a great, when you speak, it's like who was that guy that married to Elizabeth Taylor? That English guy that played in all the Shakespeare movies. Richard Burton.
Richard Burton,
Sound just like Richard Burton when you speak. So we love to hear you speak. But we've been on now for an hour.
2 hours. 2 hours and 17.
2 hours and 17 minutes. Now we're gonna end this thing, but every week it's gonna get more and more interesting. Because I'm gonna go on. We're gonna get into a lot of different stuff. But now we're gonna end it now. But before we end it, I want you to listen to the words of another song that I put up. Now, last week, Eddie, you signed off before you listened to the song, and Joe listened to the whole song.
All right, you know that, huh?
Yeah.
I thought you played I Did It My Way.
No. So I could see you because, like I could sign you out or I could leave you on. I'm leaving you on so you listen to the whole words. After the song is over, then I'm going to shut you off and I'm going to end the show.
Because I'm a music lover like you, Larry.
Okay, so you got to listen. What is he doing now? What are you doing?
I'm looking at the window here because I want to see if it's snowing.
It's snowing.
You know what you should play, Larry? You should play the YMCA song.
Okay.
The YMCA song. You could do the Trump dance.
But I want you to listen to the words of this song because I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff together and I'm going to call a segment "Lessons Learned in Life." And this is one of the songs. This might be the lead song between this and It's Getting Late. So
I'm calling you up tomorrow at 3:30 in the morning.
Listen to the words of the song, and then after the song is over, hang up, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy.
Sometimes you're happy and sometimes you're sad, but the world goes round, and sometimes you lose every nickel you've had, but the world goes round. Sometimes your dreams get broken in pieces, but that doesn't alter a thing. Take it from me, there's still gonna be a summer, a winter, a fall, and a spring. sometimes a friend starts treating you bad. But the world goes round, and sometimes your heart breaks with a deafening sound. Somebody loses and somebody wins, and one day it's kicks, then it's kicks in the shins, but the planet spins and the world goes round and round. But the world goes round. But the world goes round. Sometimes your dreams get broken in pieces, but that doesn't matter at all. Take it from me, there's still gonna be a summer, a winter, a spring, and a fall. And sometimes a friend starts treating you bad, but the world goes round. And sometimes your heart breaks with a deafening sound. Somebody loses and somebody wins, and one day it's kicks, then it's kicks in the shins, but the planet spins and the world goes round and round and around and round and round. The world goes round and round
Liza Minnelli. Oh, yeah. Let her hear it in New York, everybody.